Hello and welcome to Northwest Knitting. My name is Kathy and this is my knitting podcast where I like to talk about my knitting projects, sustainable fibers, and my efforts to make a more eco-friendly wardrobe for myself. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you find something of interest, and if you are coming back, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I so enjoy your comments. My name is Northwest Knitting on Ravelry and on Instagram. And also anything I talk about should be mentioned in the show notes below. And if you have any questions about anything, just be sure to comment and I will get back to you and try and answer your question. So much has happened. I have not been doing Vlogmas. It's just more than I can do, as well as experience the holiday season. So even though I don't have lots and lots of things to show you today, I wanted to check in and say hello and wish everybody a very, very happy holiday, whatever they're celebrating, and a happy new year in case I don't come back in time for that. I've really been enjoying all kinds of podcasts. I really don't know how the Vlogmas people do it and wrap their presents, but I am enjoying it. So I hope that you are having a grand old crafting time yourselves. I started out, I'm not sure, let's see. Oh, the last time I talked to you, Thanksgiving hadn't happened. We had the whole family, a dog and a puppy and two babies, and my children and their spouses, and it was just bliss. Dennis and I had such a good time. I did wind yarn with my granddaughter Ellie, and we knitted up this, and she did a really good job for somebody who's not quite 3, but the motion of turning the ball winder is harder than you might think. But this is really fun, and I'll knit a sweater for her out of this in January for her birthday. So that was really fun. Anyway, after that, well, one day I opened my email and there was a notice from Virtual Knitting Live that they had a big discount on their classes. And I hadn't really noticed. I was too busy with other things, but they had some great classes. And so I signed up for several of them, and that was just fabulous. So if you haven't done it, I highly recommend it. My favorite class was by Patty Lyons. It was Advanced Knitting Fixes, and she focused on fixing your mistakes. So she had us do a little bit of lace work on a swatch and also some cable work, and we went through very systematically learning how to fix the mistakes, and it was great. It was 2 hours. It was almost more than I could handle of that kind of intense focus, but she had some good materials. I'm going to go through those again. I highly recommend taking a class from Patty Lyons. She's just very smooth and expert at the all the computer stuff, and just really does a great job, is so into the weeds of the knitting, and for me about an hour is really intense, but I stayed in there and I'm really glad I did. So that was great. And actually since then, right after that she came down with shingles, and it's been very painful, and she's been online urging people, if you're old enough, to get the shingles vaccine, which I have done and also highly recommend. So people tell me that shingles is awful, and I think she has it in her eye, and she said the pain is indescribable. So think about it if you've been on the fence about that one. I also took a class from Natasha Hornsby, and I have never knit any of her designs, but I absolutely adore what she does. She goes by the name Moonstruck Knits. She has absolutely incredible, she has a lot of shawls. Every year she does a mosaic shawl, and the class was called Mosaic is Magic, and I really enjoyed that as well. I had to get up early because for us it was 7 o'clock in the morning. It was pretty painful to do it, but really great and fun to see her. So I'm hoping to do something of hers. I also absolutely love her sweaters, but she tends to be, I think she's a little broader in the shoulders and very slim, and a lot of her sweaters come in cut narrowly, and I haven't quite worked out how they'll look on me. So if you've done one of hers and you happen to be pear-shaped like me, let me know how it went. If you just made your usual adjustments, did it work out for you? Anyway, that was also a great class. So that was kind of an unexpected thing. I think I got the notice a couple days before, so I didn't even have much time to anticipate it, but it was really a great beginning to the month of December. Then I went to California to visit my father for a couple days, and because I was going to be traveling very lightly, I didn't bring the sweater project I'm working on, but I did bring a couple things, and I think I'll go ahead and, well, first let me tell you what I'm wearing, because it's always so aggravating when people dilly-dally about that. I'm wearing the Lunenburg sweater by Amy Christophers, and this is way different from her color choices. She has really earthy tones, and I talk about this quite a lot. I'll put it down in the show notes what episode I talk about this, because I really go through, and I'll put my Ravelry page, because I did use a lot of different color yarns for this, but my main color is a Peruvian blend of half wool, half alpaca, and I think I've got some gray alpaca, and I just don't even remember now what all they are, but I've talked about it so much I hate to go into it now. And then I am, after the fact, picked up some stitches and modified the collar to make it a little warmer. It's because it's half alpaca, it's really warm. And so I'm wearing it when it's cold, and then I want more around my neck. So anyway, I love this, and you've probably heard me tell when I went to Ireland, I was out in a tiny island, the island of Inisheer, out on a path, and ran into somebody wearing the Lunenburg pullover. It was so much fun, and she was wearing the colors, the earthy tones. It just looked fabulous. The only thing that would have been better is if I had been wearing mine as well, but that was quite magical. But let me tell you what I've been working on. Well, over Thanksgiving, I knit several of these I think I showed you one before in my last episode, but I did another one, and then I did this one, and it is, I don't know what that little, okay, some woven end came out, but anyway, here it is. So I used the Sandnes Garn Smart for this, some blue ochre, and I'm not sure what that white is, but I'll put it in my show notes. And this is the, I need Dennis here to remind me how to pronounce it, Clayquot Toque by Tincanknits. And it's really fun because it's tincanknits. It comes in all sizes imaginable, and really fun to knit if you want to use up some scraps. And I really enjoyed it. So this one is going off to a granddaughter. And the other thing that I just did recently, and I'm not finished, but I have a little more time, is I'm not doing a whole lot of Christmas knitting, but I did the World's Simplest Mittens by tincanknits, so I have one done, and this is the same yarn as this. Leftover. I actually had quite a lot of leftovers from this, so I'll do the other one of those for another for a granddaughter. And then I did this one for the smallest granddaughter who it almost looks too big even as it is, but the ones with the fingers just looked crazy big on her, and she's like 15 months, so I don't know when. And so what I'd like to do is make another one and then do an icord and join them up. And then with the oldest granddaughter, I will give her the mitten book, the book called The Mitten by Jan Brett. And I think she also did a hat one, but her books are great. I'm getting a board book, but they're really, you can see her illustrations better if you get either the bigger paper or the hardback. She just has really gorgeous little illustrations on the side. So anyway, those are fun. And then something that I worked on quite a lot is I did the DRK Everyday Cowl by Andrea Mowry, and here it is. You can see I made it a little bit longer. You can see I did an extra row in there, and I didn't notice it until just this minute, but I think it's going to be one of those things. And then you seam it in the back, and it's meant to be a visible seam. So your challenge is to try and get, boy, I'll tell you, the this camera shows up more defects. See, it goes pretty well here. This one, it's all right. But sometimes the color changes, and then anyway, one thing I did is I really struggled with my icord edge getting loose enough. I have since found how to solve that problem, but I just didn't have it in me to redo this. So, and it's a gift to a beloved. So, anyway, one thing I did is when I was seaming it, I didn't seam it all the way to give a little more space because it just feels a little tight to me. But I'll tell you the secret that Stephen West posted. He has a little video on it that if you're having problems with the tight I-cord bind off, he said bind off, but you could really do it on the side as I think he said bind off. But anyway, it would work for the wherever you're using it, for the edge or a bind off. No, it was the edge. It was the edge. So what he suggested doing is, you know, when you slip let's say you slip 3 stitches and you turn it around, and the next side you're gonna knit those 3 stitches. Then if you want to get a little more length so it's not so tight, put those stitches back on the left needle and knit them again. And it just gives an extra little height. He recommended. You don't have to do it all the time. Just throw a couple of those in there as you go along, and it should loosen it up. So that is a lesson for me. I love this. I show it to you a lot, but I just love those balls. Yarn balls. So, anyway, what I also did a shawl once with an icord bind off. No, an icord edging, and I had the same problem, and I really wish I had solved the problem before then. So anyway, I'm not going to put this on. It does fit, and it should fit the recipient just fine. It is going to be pretty snug around the neck, which I think is good. But I'm not usually for the two young women in the family. I usually make a cowl that's longer, an infinity cowl, and then you wrap it double, and then they can loosen it. And I think if you're walking, if you're shopping, or even if you're walking along and you're getting a little warm, it's nice to be able to loosen that, and then you can snug it up by doubling it. Whereas if you wear a cowl like this, or there's so many gorgeous little colorwork cowls, then it's a little harder to take it off. So we'll see what the feedback is on this, but it's kind of fun. You have that slip stitch. I made a ridiculous number of mistakes. It was odd. Some of it I was knitting on the airplane, coming and going, and chatting the whole time. So I think for most people, you could do this and do anything, but I just maybe wasn't in the right frame of mind. Who knows? I don't know. I was, the other thing is it's superwash yarn, and I think I mentioned last time what the yarn was. I'll put it in the show notes. The darker color is a mystery. I have no idea. I've lost the tag, so sorry about that. And then the white one was a Dream in Color, classy, I'm pretty sure. But I haven't been knitting that much with superwash, and there was something about it that I really felt my mistakes were so visible. So I don't know what that's all about. Usually that's not an issue for me, but anyway, we're humans. I don't know, hard to say what was going on there. So the thing, so I worked on the cowl mostly at my dad's house. It wasn't a super long trip, but I was really glad to see him before the holiday, and it was a great time to travel because people had traveled for Thanksgiving, and both flights were quite empty, maybe 50% full. So that was pretty nice on Southwest. So I was really glad to see him. He's doing well. He's now over 100, and we're still having laughs. So that's good. That is good. Then what did I do next? Then I came home from that, and then we had a couple days of relaxing, but I got to go to a show that had been on Broadway and came to Eugene, and it was To Kill a Mockingbird, and it was starring Richard Thomas, who years ago I'm sure they sold a lot of tickets because he played John Boy in the Waltons so many years ago. He's about my age now. He was really great, and all the acting was fantastic. And they redid the story quite a bit. I was going to talk about the book at the end, but I think I'll just mention it now. It was really fun to go to a very high caliber show, and Dennis ushers, so I buy a seat and he ushers, and he gets to see it for free. He's working, but it's fun, and I really enjoyed it, and immediately had to borrow a copy of the book and read it. And it reminded me, it won the Pulitzer Prize when it came out in 1962. It by Harper Lee. It is a great book. I will say, and I should say that for the play, they changed things quite a bit. Things that happen at the end, you hear about at the beginning. They do a lot of clever things in a way to tell the story and get all the to get the story across, to get the message across, to do the whole thing. They put it together they package it slightly differently. It's beautifully done. I really enjoyed it. I will say that there is a lot of language that is hard to hear, that we don't use insulting language toward the Black defendant and the Black people in the community, and that was painful. And I know that some people did leave, but it's part of the story. But you have no doubt where the Harper Lee and the script writers are coming from. But it was at times hard. So anyway, that was kind of exciting because I don't go out to plays that often. So it was fun, and they had everything decorated at the theater. So that was fun. Then Dennis and I went to Portland for 2 nights, and we spent 3 hours in Powell's bookstore. We went to a music store that had a lot of vinyl, and then we went to a children's toy store. And in case you're looking for a place in Portland, it was called Kids at Heart on Hawthorne Street. So we had a fun old time, ate out, and it was kind of nice. We don't get the kids for Christmas this year, so we're trying to do a lot of festive things to feel like we're celebrating, and we're having a party at our house, and that will next weekend. So it'll fill the house with lots of holiday spirit. One thing I've thought about is I do kind of wish I had knit myself a holiday sweater. Did you do that? I'm curious if a lot of people do that for themselves, or if you're too busy knitting your gift knits. I've always wanted to knit, I think it's called the Festive Sweater by Skein, so that's been on my mind. But then Isabel Kramer just came out with a new sweater called Yule Do. Yule, Y-U-L-E, and then separate word D-O. And it has color work, but her pattern is just 2 colors, the main color, and then the color work is in a different color. And it's kind of a more subtle, festive sweater. It doesn't really, I think it does have some trees or tree-like thing, but you wouldn't necessarily think Christmas when you see it, And I saw somebody who had done it, and she did it kind of cropped and with shorter sleeves. And if you're going to a Christmas party this time of year, this sweater will not work. It'll just be boiling hot. So something like that could be really fun. The other thing I'm thinking about is there's some knitters who go to the Youthful Fiber Farms shop days who are doing a little informal knit along, and they are knitting the Calliopi pullover by Espace Tricot, and I am thinking about that just partly because it's a very useful sweater. I could really use one, especially if I pick my colors well. And it's a DK weight, and it's the pattern calls for fingering and lace weight held together. So for me, that would be mohair. And that would be really fun. I also do have some DK yarn. Not very much, but I do have DK weight yarn that I could use. I've also thought of, so the yarn I have is Tuca Wool DK, so I'm really eager to use that. But this yarn, which is supposed to be, trying to think, not this one. I'm thinking of Barocco Ultra Alpaca. It's supposed to be worsted, but to me feels more sport weight. Not sport weight, DK weight. So I could definitely use that for it as well. So those are thoughts for the future. But, I initially started out today for this podcast wearing a very black sweater because I wanted to show you something. And it's going to be hard to see it on this. So maybe I won't put it on. It just doesn't work with this sweater I'm wearing. But I showed you last time, I forgot the picture. Hang on. I'm doing the Olivia Bell cardigan by Nora Gaughan. So here's her version. Once again, wondering about the printer and those stripes. But and you can see she's got big, wide bell shapes. That's why she calls it bell. She also came out with a pullover in this pullover version. And so I was telling you last time that I'm making mine out of all my scraps of my Noro Silk Garden. And so I'm moving along. I'd be done, but I wanted to do gift knitting instead. So I've taken a break from it, but I'm anxious to get back. So I had done most of the body, you can see. And then I got about that far down to here, and I put it on barber cords because I'm not sure how long to make it. And then I did since I last saw you, I did one sleeve. So I'm not making it fully belled because it would drive me bonkers to have it dripping down. So I did do it a little fuller in here than I normally do, and then I'm doing ribbing, and I decided I need to do another. So this is also on a cord, and I need to do another, at least another inch or so. It feels a little short. And then I have the top still on a cord because I picked up some stitches because I felt like it was too wide. So I'm going to make it, I don't know if you can see here, but it is a little bit of a wider neck. So I don't know. And also it just could be that what I did for the size. So I am going way, way off. I'm following the pattern. I've got the feel of the pattern, but this has just made me feel so creative. I'll see if I can tell you what size. I'm doing the second size, which is like finished chest 36, which is really too small for me, but because of my gauge, it seemed like the best thing. So I've tried it on. It fits fine, and I can wear it over most sweaters. So I've just been having so darn much fun with this. I can't even tell you how fun. Now she's got a more planned thing. She's got it limited to much more limited colors. I think she's got like 1, 2, maybe 3 contrast colors and 1 main color. But because I'm using scraps, my main color is just all over the place here. But it has been so fun, and it's also made me feel free to just modify like crazy because I don't know, I'm really enjoying it. So this is the most enjoyable sleeve island I've ever had. I just had so much fun picking the colors. You can see she does a lot of purling to give it a some interest, and I did more of that. So I just threw in pearls left and right. It was very, very fun. So I've started the second sleeve. I got to finish up this one, then but I've already started this second sleeve, and I am trying more or less to match at least this. I'm trying to not match, but just try and like make sure I get each one of these colors in there and try and sort of duplicate this. I do have plenty of yarn. It is shocking how much yarn I'm not using. I just can't believe it. It's just really not using up as much as I thought, but I did get rid of quite a lot of it. So I have all kinds of, I'm knitting this quite loosely for me. Even though I'm a loose knitter generally, I usually go down a size and it still comes out thicker. I did not go up a size for the sleeve. Maybe that would have been a good idea. So this part here is less full than it might have been because I didn't do that, but it fits totally fine. So anyway, I don't know if you haven't just gone totally scrappy. I really highly recommend it. I'm just having so much fun. There's some people I follow on Instagram, and there's a woman named Jera Knits, and she just has the most wonderful, she's always knitting scrappy socks, and but I don't think my scraps would come out to look the way hers are. She's got a lot of earth tones, and it's not going to happen. So maybe I could do it with my grays and blues and my occasional pinks and reds and stuff. Anyway, well, let's see, what else did I want to say? I think I am reaching the end. I do not have a whole lot today. So I think that's it for the knitting. And then I'll just chat a little bit longer if you are interested in the chatting. So if you're leaving and have heard all the knitting, then I hope you come back again and see me sometime. The holiday can be a tricky time. For me, I was initially not looking forward to it all that much because I felt like we got the kids, it was so great, and then they leave and go to the other. Now my kids will go to their in-laws' houses, and they will have a grand old time there, as they should. And next year I'll get them for Christmas if all goes well. But Christmas is complicated if you are a Christmas celebrator, and I'm sure that the holidays in any culture or religion have their own, because family gets together, they have their own ups and downs. But there's lots of memories, like opening, like looking at the Christmas ornaments, for example. For me, this year I said, Dennis, I think I just want to put the top layer of the ornaments. I have a box with all these layers, a plastic box that closes, you know. I think I just want to put up some of the ornaments this year. We went, we found it, we got a real tree, we got a Doug fir for the scent. They drop their needles more, but the scent is great. So we did get that. We picked one out really fast, put it up. It was up. It was just like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And the lights weren't all that bad either. So, but the Christmas ornaments, my gosh, if you keep them for 40 years, there's lots of memories in there. And not all the memories are, you know, they take you in a different direction, and they, you know, old memories that, they're good, but you don't always want to be in that world at when you're putting up your Christmas tree. So we put up a few, and it looks totally full, and it's fun, and I still need to do a little mantelpiece decorating. I'm really going slow on that one, but we'll do that maybe later today, and then we'll go visit my daughter in Silverton before for an early Christmas visit. So that'll be fun. But yeah, Christmas is tricky if you've had loss. Right now, I know somebody who, some dear friends of us are going to lose somebody before the end of the year. The world does not slow down. The things happen, people get sick. You know, whatever is happening to you, I hope that you can find some joy in the season. You know, humans always have been bringing greens into the house and doing something to celebrate the light for so many centuries, way before there was Christmas or Christ, or you know, it's just a long, ancient tradition. If you want to think about that topic, you might want to see, if you haven't already, there's a wonderful podcast by Wool and the Forest, and she does kind of just a chatty talking about things in another podcast, I think called Amble and Knit. And she's going to talk about that, about trying to keep things simple, about trying to bring in more of the ancient traditions. And so if you're kind of thinking about that instead of buying so much stuff for the holidays, then you might check it out. I'm going to put the link below, and maybe while you're watching it, I'll be watching it as well, because I could use something a little more soulful and a little less go, maybe. So anyway, I hope you're having fun. I hope you're getting some nice knitting in, and I will definitely join you, if not before, probably after the new year. So happy holidays to you, and definitely a very, very happy new year. And I'll see you next year. Goodbye.